How to start a freight broker business and make $691,000 a year. There's a massive need for freight brokers because transportation is what makes the world go round. Everybody wants their shipments and they want it right now. That shipment has to be delivered across the country in a truck. Well, how do we get that shipment there? Well, a lot of times it comes from a freight broker. A freight broker essentially schedules the routes, finds a trucking company, so they contact with the shipper, and the shipper says, hey, I want to take this load out at this time. The freight broker says, okay, I'll handle it. I will find you a trucking company that will take that load from California to New York, etc. The freight broker usually makes about 10 to 15%. In some industries, some commodities, they may make more, and some they may make less, but 10 to 15%. So example, if a load's $1,000, they would make 12% of that, which is $120. So a great freight brokerage is doing a lot of loads every single day. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through how much it costs, how much you can make, how much you can actually profit running these numbers, and then I'm going to tell you some pros and cons of it and some strategies in which you'll want to use to make sure you have a successful freight brokerage. My name's Nate Jones. I make videos on how to start businesses, entrepreneurship, and I'm a seasoned entrepreneur. I have multiple businesses, and I'm here to help. So if you get value out of today's video, hit like and subscribe. Okay, so we're going to go into how much it costs. I really like this business. When I was researching it, I really like the cost aspect because there's really not a ton of cost on this. Okay, so let's go through it. A freight broker bond is $2,000, around $2,000. Depending on your credit, I would reach out to somebody who does bonds. They'll be able to find you something there, but it's about $2,000 if you have good credit. A computer is about $1,000. A phone's going to put you at $500. Insurance, $2,500. And factoring float. So what happens is with freight brokers is they'll pay a trucking company when they haven't got paid yet, right? So let's say they found a trucking company to do a load for $2,000. They have to pay that trucking company when the shipper isn't going to pay them that $2,200-ish for another 30 to 60 days. So it can take a while. So you're going to need a financing partner for that. But really at the beginning, if you could save up money and start to do some of that with your own money, that'll allow you to be a little bit more profitable in today's interest rates. So we have the $2,500 of the insurance, $20,000. So that puts us at about 27,000 startup costs, which is pretty good for any type of business that can make this much money. That's a great business to start. So let's get into what you guys probably wanted to hear about this video is how much can you make? How much can we cash flow? Okay, so let's provide an example of doing five days a week of running loads, okay? And on an average day, and this is after you've been set up, after you found your shippers, after you found your trucking companies that you're going to connect with. Let's say your full bowl here, after you got all the shippers set up where you have loads coming in, you're going to do about 12 loads per day. Just 12 loads a day, okay? 12 loads a day at an average margin of 12%. The average load cost is going to be $2,000, okay? So if we do $2,000 times 12% on our margin is $240. So we're making $240 a load. We do 12 loads. That puts it at $2,880 a day that we're making freight brokering. That is crazy to me because the profit margin on this business is very high. Definitely a lot of money in this business if you can get it up to 12 loads a day. Okay, so after we do 12 loads a day, if we do that 5 days a week, that puts us at $14,400 a week that we're making. On a monthly basis, if we're doing this every single month, every single week, every single day, puts us at $57,600 a month. And on a yearly basis, that's $691,200. That is insane to me that there's this much money in this. I always knew people that worked in freight brokering, and I didn't really understand how much they made. And to be honest, I don't know. You could probably easily start this business with just taking a course online or learning from somebody or even working at another freight brokerage for a little bit just to learn the tricks of the trade. So let's go into cash flow. How much can we profit? Because profit is super important. That's the number one thing in any business is anybody can make money, but can you keep the money that comes in is super important. So again, our revenue is $57,600 a month. I put 3 people making $60,000 a year working for you, which is a very decent salary. It's an average salary. So an average salary of $60,000 a year, 3 people, that's $15,000 a month. We're gonna have $2,000 in all other expenses. That's just maybe your financing expenses, office expenses. We could add an office, but I really think you could do this business virtually, just because all you need is a computer. Okay, so that puts us at $40,600 in profit on a yearly basis. That's $487,200 in profit. So I'm going to go through some positives and negatives. I mean, first off, the positive is super profitable. That's a massive profit margin. You can continue to add staff, continue to scale this business as long as you have shipments, those relationships with those shippers to get those loads on your books. It's always needed. Transportation, trucking is always going to be needed. We're always going to need our stuff shipped from point A to point B. So that's always going to be needed. A negative with this is transportation has its ups and its downs. That means load prices go up and they go down. And the issue with when they go down is it may be hard to find truckers at your going rate. So your margin might have to shrink a little bit to get that load off your books. So just because it's ups and downs, you'll have very good times and you might have some slow times because people may not be selling as much and your shippers may dry up. So the amount of loads available for you to get out there just shrinks. It goes down because the economy's slowing down. So when the economy's slow, there's not as many shipments, so your business is going to slow down. Now, a lot of businesses are kind of impacted by the economy. There's only a few that really isn't. It's healthcare, maybe insurance. But this business is dictated on the economy. So you just got to know that, hey, put back for tomorrow because tomorrow may be worse than today. Okay. Another negative is you getting the proper training and knowing what you're doing. This business does take expertise and you need to know what you're doing before you just hop into it. So I suggest that you look up either an online course or someone in the industry that can mentor you into starting this business. When I was doing research, tons of people out there have courses. They would be happy to help you out. The next thing we need to do is we need to think of all the ways in which this business can fail. All right. I don't see people talking about this because usually people on YouTube want to talk about all the positives. But let's talk about the negatives. What could happen? Well, number one, we don't get any sales, right? This means either we're not getting shipments. That means we're not connecting with shippers to get loads so we can hand them off to truckers and make money. Or the flip side of that is we have shippers, we just can't find truckers. So the biggest thing with this business is being on the phone. You're going to have to call shippers. You're going to have to call trucking companies. That's the name of the game. You need to have your roster of truckers and your rosters of shippers. So the biggest way this business can fail is not having enough on each category. You need to have truckers. You need to have shippers so you can have those 12 loads a day. Okay. The next thing is we need to have quality truckers, right? If we are connecting with people who don't have insurance or are not properly taking care of the load, that looks bad on us. And that potentially could hold us liable as a freight brokering company if we're not hiring good trucking companies to fulfill our loads. That could come back on us. We want to make sure we have good quality trucking companies working on our loads. The next thing that's going to be the biggest headache in any business is your employees. Finding a good staff that you can trust, because this business is going to be an administrative nightmare. You're going to need a lot of people, and you need good training. Employees will make or break you in this business. You can be a solo shop, but you're not going to put up these numbers. You need employees to put these numbers. You need people calling people on the phone, and you need to pay them well. And that's how you can really grow and scale this business. The next phase, if you're really interested in starting this business, you need to get with an attorney and a CPA to help you set up your LLC, and also find an insurance agent that can get you the proper coverage for your freight brokering business. After that, commit to starting. Starting a business has been the best thing that I've ever done. It's given me the freedom, the money, and the flexibility to do what I want in life. So if you enjoyed today's video, hit like and subscribe. Thanks.